Hello everybody and welcome to this video. Today I am going to be, I would say a review, but I think it's going to be more like my experience using this product and what I do and don't like about it. But anyway, I will be focusing on the Tecknet USB 3.0 to dual SATA HDD docking station, which if you remember ages ago I did do an unboxing on it, and I've had it for that long. I feel it is time for me to explain my feelings about this device and what I do and don't like. Before I continue, I will just mention that if I find any more positives and negatives about this hard drive docking station that are not already covered in the video, I'll be sure to add those in the description below. So yeah, the box, it comes in just a standard like cardboard box. There is nothing fancy about it at all. It's nice and minimalistic. So overall, I'd say that's good for packaging. Now this is the device itself. So the way it works is if you have any internal hard drives like this, at the moment I only have a 2.5 inch hard drive as a demonstration, but as you can see from the size of the slots, it does support the full 3.5 inch hard drives. But basically, if you have an internal hard drive or just a hard drive or SSD that uses SATA connectors, ideally what you do is you will plug the USB 3.0 in there, which is the connector. And you would also want to plug your power in, but I haven't got the power lead on me because it's down under my desk and it's like all set up through my cable management tube, and it would just be a nightmare trying to like get it out and then putting it all back after. But as you can see there, it does say it uses a DC 12 volt in, which is what it does. So what you want to do is put your power in, make sure the USB is plugged into the computer, then put your drive in, and then on the back there's a power button. Turn it on and in a few seconds it will connect to your computer and you can then read and write data that is off this drive. I'm now going to move on to the positives and negatives of this product. I will just point out that these are my opinion, however they are mainly fact-based, based on the product, what it is, and after reading the manual. So the first thing I really like about this product is the build quality. It's a very simple construction. It has a plastic top, the hard drive doors are also plastic. Everything inside where the hard drive sits is also plastic. It's got a plastic base with little rubber feet, and then wrapping around the edge we have an aluminium casing. So as you can see, it is a really simple construction, but it's solidly constructed. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart. It doesn't rattle. As of the recording of this video, I've had this hard drive dock for coming up on probably 10 months, I want to say. I don't think I've had it quite a year, but I've definitely had it more than half a year. I've been using this pretty much daily for like my backup hard drives and my YouTube archive and things like that, and I can say that it still functions as new, and the build quality has been maintained throughout all of its usage. The only parts that actually show wear are the doors on the hard drive bays, and that is as I've got my 3.5 inch hard drive and just like pushed it in, and obviously the hard drive pushed the door out of the way, but it obviously rubbed against it and left these marks. But aside from those marks, the build quality is still very solid and still how it was when I first unboxed it. The next positive that I really like about this hard drive dock, and in fact the reason why I got this one, is because it uses a USB 3.0 connector. And due to this hard drive dock using a USB 3.0 interface, it does mean that you can get transfer speeds of up to 640 megabytes a second. I believe that's the correct figure. If that is not the correct figure, then I will definitely correct myself by putting the correct figure across the screen. And what that speed means is you can put 5400 or 7200 RPM hard drives in this dock and you will still be able to access the data on the hard drive at the maximum speed that hard drive is able to deliver. And of course that does also apply to the somewhat rare 10,000 RPM hard drives and also SATA interface SSDs. But let's just say that this cable won't be the bottleneck between the data on the drives that are in the hard drive dock and the computer. Now the next positive that I like about this hard drive dock, I should have really done this one first as it's really simple. I have briefly covered it, but it is the fact that you can fit both 2.5 inch and 3.5 inch hard drives into this docking station. Now I would demonstrate with the 3.5 inch hard drive, but I don't actually have any on me as of recording this video, so I can't. But as you can see from the size of the doors, that it supports both 2.5 and 3.5 inch hard drives. The next positive that I like about this hard drive is the fact that it has an offline cloning system, which means you can put 2 drives in here and clone one drive to the other. Put simply, but in more detail, do you see how there's an A drive and a B drive corresponding with the A and B here? So this is drive A and this is drive B. The first rule that you need to follow when you are using the offline cloning feature is that the drive A is the drive that's being cloned and that drive B is the destination drive. The next rule that you need to follow when cloning a drive, I actually had to go and look this up in the little manual because I forgot. So it says in this little manual that the hard drive in the B slot, which is that one, needs to have a greater capacity or equal capacity to the drive that is in drive A. And there's one simple rule to why that is. For example, you cannot take 600 gigabytes of data and copy it onto a 200 gigabyte hard drive. It's just not possible. So let's say that hard drive A is a 1 terabyte hard drive, but you only have 250 gigabytes of data on it. And let's say that hard drive B is a 500 gigabyte hard drive and it has no data on it. Now, looking at it from a numbers perspective, it would be possible to clone that data from drive A to drive B, but it would be impossible to clone that data onto the other drive using the offline feature, as once again the offline feature doesn't look at the data written to the hard drive, it looks at the capacity of the hard drive. So if it detects that hard drive B is smaller than hard drive A, it just won't clone. It just will not do it no matter what you do. Now, once you've made sure that hard drive B is equal to or greater capacity than hard drive A, you can simply just hold the clone button for 3 seconds and the cloning will begin. As of the recording of this video, they are all the positives of the product. Now I'm going to go on to the negatives of the product. So the first negative is that each slot supports up to 6 terabytes only, meaning if you put a 10 terabyte hard drive in a single slot, it won't work. The hard drive dock won't be able to read the hard drive because it is greater than 6 terabytes. Now I'm not 100% sure on the way this works. If you put a 10 terabyte hard drive in there, as far as I'm aware, the hard drive dock will just refuse to read off that hard drive. But it may be the situation in where the hard drive dock can read the drive, but it can only read the first 6 terabytes of the drive. I'm not sure on which one of those it is, but the first example I gave would make more sense looking at it from a technical perspective. If you can only read part of the drive, then just don't read any of the drive, is what I think is probably the best option there. But let's look at it from a logical perspective. If you are someone who buys hard drives that are like 6 terabytes or larger in size, then you probably won't be putting them in a hard drive dock such as what I am going over here. You will probably have some kind of like NAS storage, or maybe even your own like server storage, or something that's like more professional, more heavy duty than an everyday desktop hard drive docking station. But I guess that if you want to stick a 10 terabyte hard drive into the hard drive docking station, it would be kind of nice to not see that limitation, but in reality, who's ever going to use a 6 terabyte hard drive in this docking station? Like, I would say for a little desktop docking station like this, while it does support up to 6 terabytes, I would say the maximum I'd probably put into a docking station like this is probably 4 terabytes, and then any higher I'd probably invest in a NAS storage system or some other kind of backup system that is of a higher professional level. Now, the next negative that I have identified with this product is the fact that it is part metal and part plastic. Now, I understand that it is cheaper from a manufacturing perspective to do some plastic parts instead of just all metal, but if Tecknet were to manufacture this product as a all metal construction, I feel that the build quality, while it is a very solid, durable build, I feel that just having an all metal construction would further improve on that build quality and just further improve on the product as a whole. Now, I do know it would be more expensive to manufacture it all in metal, and the metal would be like considered a luxury option, as quite clearly it functions perfectly fine with just a part metal, part plastic construction. But still, I feel that an all metal construction would benefit the build quality and construction of the product. Now the final negative that I have identified with the product is in fact the offline cloning. I have tried the offline cloning to make sure the function does work, and it does work, but it takes forever. And to give you a perspective on how long forever is, I did a test sample where I cloned 250 gigabytes of data from drive A to drive B, and that took 8 hours to complete. One very big negative that I forgot to include actually at the time of recording this video when I had the table and stuff laid out is that if you have the docking station turned on with drives in the docking station when you boot up your computer, it's likely that your computer will just not boot and it will just black screen. I've had that issue many times. I had it on my old Z77 system. I still have the same issue on the X99 system, so it must be something to do with the way Windows handles the detector drives upon boot or something like that. And the only way to fix this problem I've found is to turn your computer off, turn the docking station off, and then boot up your computer before turning on the docking station again. So put simply, if you are wanting to use a docking station, make sure that your computer has booted to the desktop before turning the docking station on. I don't know how, but I completely forgot to say the last half of that sentence, so here I am recording it again. Now this is on my primary computer, which is running Windows 10 Pro 64-bit. I have no idea if you still get the same booting issue on operating systems that are not Windows 10. I don't know how I missed that error earlier when I had the table and everything set up, but that is probably the biggest negative about the hard drive docking station. So after using the hard drive dock over the previous 9 months, pretty much daily, I can say that I am very pleased with the product itself. The build quality, the durability of it, it still looks like and still feels like it was brand new. It shows like no wear and tear aside from the slight marking on the doors where I put the hard drives in, but that won't affect anything regarding the functionality. So overall, if you are looking for like a dual desktop hard drive dock just to put on your desk or wherever you want to put it, then I would say yes about this product and would recommend it, because my experiences of been using the products have been very good. Like I said, I've been using it pretty much every day for 9 months straight, and I've never had a problem with it aside from the Windows booting issue. I don't know what causes the issue, and I don't know if Tecknet themselves know about the issue, but I do know a fix to the issue. Turn the hard drive dock off, turn your computer off, turn your computer on, then when you're at the desktop, turn your hard drive dock on. That is the fix that I found. If you do experience the boot up issue, I can say that from experiencing it myself, the hard drive dock has not interfered with my OS drive at all. My computer still works perfectly fine, so it's not damaging the OS drive, or if it is somehow, then I have yet to see consequences of that damage. But overall, yes, I like the product as a whole, and if you're looking for a hard drive dock, a dual hard drive dock, I would recommend it. And that concludes the review, overlook, opinions, whatever you want to call it, that I just did on the video. And we'll just say that for the last one, the fact that the 250 gigabytes took around 8 hours to complete, I did only test that test once because I was impatient and refused to wait another 8 hours. But I will just point out it could be due to the fact that I set something up wrong, even though it's a really simple procedure that I actually ran you through in the video. Well, I told you how to do it, I didn't show you how to do it, but I'm guessing you know how to do it from the instructions I gave. So while the offline feature is there, if you have access to software, I would recommend to go with the software side of it because it is much quicker. But if you can't do that, then the offline feature does work, so that's good for you. You might just need to wait a little bit longer than if you were to do it through software. And that brings us nicely to the end of this video. So if you have enjoyed this video, give it a like. If not, then give it a dislike, comment, favorite, share and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you in the next video.